Hello, my darling Fumi Nation. How are you? How are we? My name is Fumidesaluvold. For those of you stopping by for the very first time, you are so very welcome indeed. Shanquella Robinson. Shanquella Robinson. Shanquella Robinson. For those of you that are new to my channel, because my channel has grown maybe 500,000 since then, about 2 years ago, I covered the case of Shanquella Robinson. It was a young girl who went to Mexico to celebrate a birthday party with her friends, and in essence, she never came back home. I followed that story right to where the FBI said that there would be nobody that they were going to arrest in relation to her passing. I have been on YouTube for the past 10 years, going on 11. And I can say my entire life, I have never been so passionate about a case, an unsolved case, such as Shanquella's case. I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that I was a mother. And I would want to know what happened to my child. Well, the first update that I am happy to give you is that Daejhanae Jackson has changed her name. She is now known as Imani Green. And I'm going to continue calling out her name Imani Green because we are not going to we are not going to let this go. Shanquella's mother has filed a complaint. And I am going to read the complaint to you. Well, at least a good part of it, so that you can understand what is going on so far in relation to, of course, her deceased child. And she has filed this complaint to Imani Green, Alyssa Hyatt, Malik Dyer, Winter Donovan, Khalil Cook, Nazir Tree Wiggins in the United States Department of State and the Federal Bureau of Investigation. And so it says, wherefore plaintiffs, for their causes of action, pray this honorable court for relief of as follows. And this is what she's filing. The entry of judgment against Imani Green in favor of the plaintiff for Court 1, wrongful death in the amount of $2 million. 2. The entry of judgment against Imani Green in favor of the plaintiff for count 2, battery in the amount of $2 million. 3. The entry of judgment against each of the Cabo 6 defendants, Imani Green, Alyssa Hyatt, Malik Dyer, Winter Donovan, Khalil Cook, and Nazir Wiggins in favor of the plaintiff for count 3, negligence in the amount of $400 per defendant. The entry of judgment against each of the Cabo 6 defendants, Imani Green, Alyssa Hyatt, Malik Dyer, Winter Donovan, Khalil Cook, Nazir Wiggins in favor of the plaintiff for count 6, civil conspiracy in the amount of $400,000 per defendant. 5. The entry of judgment against each of the Cabo 6 defendants, the Cabo 6, in favor of the plaintiff for the count 5, intentional infliction of emotional distress in an amount of $400,000 per defendant. 6. The entry of judgment against each of the Cabo 6 defendants, the Cabo 6 defendants, Imani Green, Alyssa Hyatt, Malik Dyer, Winter Donovan, Khalil Cook, and Nazir Wiggins in favor of the plaintiff for the count 6, negligence, infliction of emotional distress in the amount of $400,000 per defendant. I concur and I say hear, hear. For those of you that did not know and had just catching up on what happened to Shanquella Robinson, Shanquella went to meet her friends to celebrate a birthday of one of the Cabo 6. And she was beaten. It was not a fight. She was beaten. I think for me what is most frightening was that the other 5 watched. Or the other 4, because one came, I think, the early hours of the morning after the incident. She was beaten, undressed. And that was what I stated in the first episode before all of the details came out. I said that after watching the horrendous video, that she was already undressed, and that was why she was so vulnerable. We found out that she went to bed undressed, and they caught her off guard, and they did these terrible things to her. You are now going to watch a clip, and for the first time, we get new information.
The FBI has released its first findings on a complicated, mysterious death involving a Charlotte woman who died while on a trip to Mexico back in 2022. WBTV was the first to break this story to you back then. We're talking about Shanquella Robinson. She, along with several others, thought to be friends, now known as the Cabo Six, vacationed in Cabo San Lucas back in October of 2022. Shanquella died while on the trip, but her death has been a mystery ever since. Soon after, videos surfaced online showing what is believed to be Shanquella and one of her friends fighting inside their hotel room. The group said Shanquella died of alcohol poisoning, but an autopsy reveals she died of neck and spinal cord injuries. Well, WBTV has obtained the first of a series of initial findings from the FBI detailing what happened and why. It's a heavily redacted report, but the FBI states Shanquella and a group of friends, all names redacted, were in Mexico to celebrate one of their birthdays, adding the group stayed at an Airbnb. The report goes on to say there was an altercation and Shanquella died. Shanquella's friends said she was drinking and hit her head on the toilet, something we have never heard to this day. Well, someone in the group thought there may be 2 cameras in the house and tried to obtain the footage. Blank then contacted local law enforcement in Mexico. Pictures of Shanquella's body showed bruises on her. One person describing it looked like she was stomped on. Just weeks ago, WBTV spoke exclusively with Shanquella's father. He says the whole ordeal has been tough for their family, but is hopeful a new Trump administration can put fresh eyes on the case.
It just seemed like somebody trying to sweep it up under the rug, like she was just a nobody, but she was somebody. She was my daughter. She was somebody to other friends that she had that loved and cared about her so much.
Now, to this day, no charges have ever been filed. Of course, WBTV will continue to keep tabs on this story. We'll update you as we learn more.
So this is the update, my dear Fumi Nation, and I am going to be a hound dog in this case. As far as I am concerned, it's kind of sort of reopened for me. It's kind of sort of giving me new hopes. We will get the arrest. We will get the arrest. We will get justice for Shanquella and her family, and for her father, for her mom, for her sister. We will get justice for her. But before I go, I want to say this. I would like the FBI and appeal to Donald Trump, who knew the day would come. Let them open the files. Let the files that the FBI had, let them be made public. If you're going to make the files public of Prince Harry's immigration status in the United States and that of JFK, make this public. Make the filings public and the details public of what happened to Shanquella Robinson. Do not forget to like, to subscribe, hit the notification button, and I will see you sooner than later. All of my love.